Good evening. There was a decline of 48% in the number of deaths on the country's roads over Easter last month. Transport Minister Blade Nzimande says the number went from 309 last year to just 162 lives lost this year. Nzimande released the figures in Pretoria today. Limpopo recorded 41 deaths, followed by KwaZulu-Natal with 33. The number of crashes also dropped by 46%, from 128 incidents in 2019 from 238 last year. The reduction in crashes and fatalities has been attributed to the collaboration between law enforcement agencies. Nzimande says they'll soon introduce the points-based demerit system. That's after President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the R2 Amendment Bill into law. Well, Molemo-waOne Mothoa was at the announcement in Pretoria this afternoon. She joins me now. Molemo, good evening to you. When we look at this particular situation, what led to this drastic reduction? What does the Minister say led to this reduction?
Good evening, Stevens. I'm coming to you live from Pretoria. Well, yes, as you've heard, the Minister has announced a reduction of 48% of road fatalities across the country, and also saying that all the provinces have recorded a reduction in fatalities as well. And he alluded, he actually said there was a number of interventions that were taken, one including the fact that there was a collaboration of law enforcement agencies who conducted operations, and as well as ensuring that there's a high visibility on the major routes in the country. And he also spoke about the fact that the Easter weekend was separate from the school holidays. But with me here, Stephen, I'm with the Transport Department spokesperson, Ishmael Munisi, who just arrived now. I just want to hear from him as to what really contributed to the reduction this time.
Well, thank you, Molemo. What actually contributed to the decrease in fatalities and crashes, as you've indicated, is a collaboration of all the law enforcement agencies throughout the country, and our implementation of the plans that we have put together as all provinces and municipalities, particularly our deployment of law enforcement officers in all the known hazardous areas throughout the provinces, and including on the N1 North, the N3 to Durban, and the N1 to Free State, and via Free State to Cape Town, including on the N4 and in all the border posts of this country.
Are we going to see that deployment of enforcement officers continuing even post the Easter weekend?
Certainly, in all those 50 hazardous areas that we have in the country, law enforcement officers will be there 24/7, and the Minister requested the MECs to ensure that we do not deploy those officers who are deployed in those areas, but also to make sure that we use other electronical devices that we have been using throughout the Easter to test the roadworthiness of the vehicles, including the EBET, the breathalyzer, to test alcohol, including the speedsters.
The Minister also said in trying to cap the road carnages, there were a number of issues that they were looking at or targeting. If you can just unpack that for us.
Firstly, we are looking at the rolling out of the R2 Amendment Bill, the demerit point system, which is awaiting the President's signature. As soon as that happens, we are going to implement that or roll it out throughout the country. Secondly is the issue of the reclassification of traffic or law or road safety infringements into a Schedule 5, which means serious offences. Currently, we have them under the Criminal Procedures Act. Now we want them to be criminalized. So therefore, that means that when an offender has been caught on our roads who might have driven with speed or who might have consumed alcohol, they will not be given an option of a bail, and they will have to wait up until they appear in court. And even in that instance, the amount that must be given to them must be high, unlike the current situation where a person can be given either 500 or 1,000 rand bail, depending on the jurisdiction where they've committed the offence.
There is a Transport Department spokesperson, Ishmael Minis, and that's back to the studio.
Molemo-waOne Mothoa, thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate it in the streets of Pretoria tonight.